Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me here again. I am interrupting my planned schedule this week for something a little bit different because if you are in Wedding World, if you are planning your wedding and you're subscribed to all the wedding blogs and all the different wedding suppliers out there, or if you're just watching the news, I'm sure you've seen that Princess Beatrice had a surprise wedding, well, not to her, to the rest of us, on Friday, and the photos have just emerged and they look absolutely incredible. They perfectly showed how small, intimate, socially distanced weddings can actually happen at this time and still look just as incredible and glamorous and beautiful as the weddings that we have expected in the past. I think we can safely say that once this virus is well behind us and into 2021, there is going to be a lot of weddings happening, and we're over halfway through this year now, and I thought I'd start to look into what my predictions were for the trends and things that were going to be happening in weddings next year. Now, Beatrice has definitely confirmed some of my suspicions of the style she went for, and I'm so excited to share this. The predictions are based on a lot of the weddings that I work in and a lot of things that I see, so they may be different right across the country, but these are things that I expect to be really hot in wedding trends for 2021. If we haven't met before, my name is Beth and I'm a professional wedding planner here in the UK, and this channel is my little wedding world where each week I get to bring you hints, tips, stories and secrets into the wedding industry to make sure that your wedding planning journey is just that little bit easier and way less stressful. Okay, so let's get straight on with these trends. I hope you're just as excited as me to hear about them and what's going to happen. If you've got some ideas of your own and things that you think are going to happen, drop them in the comments, and I always love to hear what your ideas are. Let's get started with the wedding outfit. One of the most exciting things about your wedding planning journey, and one of the things that's going to be top of your list for choosing as soon as you get engaged. Okay, so we've been sat in the house for quite a while now. We've had our tracksuits on, we've had our leggings on, our baggy clothes. It's generally been quite a comfy few months. We haven't been getting up and going to work, or at least a lot of us haven't anyway. So the trends for wedding outfits is we're going to be starting to come back out and be in public and obviously at big events. I can see things getting a lot more structured and a lot more tailored than they have been in the last few years. Possibly going back to a lot more kind of tailored traditional looks. So whether this be suits, big dresses with large full skirts, or even tailored jumpsuits, I can see that things are going to get a lot more structured. Based on Beatrice's wedding dress and a few things that I'd heard as well, a lot of the 70s and 80s vibes are coming back in. Bigger sleeves, maybe not quite as dramatic as we had them in the past, but bigger sleeves, longer veils with personal kind of embellishments and things like that on them, and a lot of design going on in the dress. When it comes to hair and makeup, I think we're going to be going a lot more glam. It's been very kind of relaxed and loose in the last few years, but I believe we've been sat at home in the house for so long now, we're ready to have a bit more of a stylized look and look way more kind of polished and perfected, ready for those photographs. But when it comes to this outfit, I believe there's going to be some really big overriding trends in the industry, and the first one is going to be British, and that's going to be British designers going to be at the forefront of all our choices. We're becoming more and more kind of aware of our surroundings and what's going on in the world, especially with all the virus and everything kind of bringing us all together across the whole globe. So we'll be looking for sustainably sourced materials, ethically produced dresses, and yes, anything made and kind of designed in our own country is going to be huge. I'm also seeing a big move to kind of eco and environmentally friendly weddings, and starting with the dress, a lot of second-hand dress, pre-loved dresses, repurposed dresses are going to be really big. Princess Beatrice wore her grandmother's dress on her wedding day, which was a huge statement made by one of the royals. So I can see this happening more and more often, and people choosing to tailor an outfit that isn't necessarily something brand new for the wedding day and make it their own sort of unique individual style. Moving on, let's have a little look at colours, flowers and decor. So we've seen a lot of the kind of green and white sort of looks in the last few years. It's been quite elegant, or we've gone into the more festival vibes with the pampas grass and the dried flowers. These colours have been going to be really popular and they're kind of staying, but I'm seeing a lot more kind of pastels, lilacs, purples, peaches, that sort of trend coming in, and it being very much homegrown, local and seasonal flowers. People aren't looking to ship flowers across the country, they're looking to see what we can grow locally and how we can use this in our wedding days. Going back to this royal wedding, you've only got to look at that archway to see where those colours come out and how beautiful they can look on a wedding day. The sort of big archways, the big displays, kind of fluffy, relaxed sort of looking flowers in those colours are going to be really popular. Keeping it in line with that sort of festival vibe, but softening it with these new pastel colours coming into the trend. Again, I'm going to mention this eco trend, and it's going to go right through everything I mentioned today, but potted flowers and things like that are becoming huge. Imagine you can have these plants on your wedding day, and instead of going in the bin at the end, you can give them away as gifts to your guests. Give them to your grandparents, give them to your parents as wedding gifts. They can then take these home and plant plant them in the garden, as can you for your wedding day as well. And you've got this memory that's going to live on and you're going to have it for years to come. As we've all been apart for so many months this year, I think it's definitely going to come into play that during our wedding day, we're going to want to create great kind of atmosphere and ambiance on our days. We're going to want to bring people together. We've had this extra time to plan the wedding, so think of kind of cozy setups, fairy lights, big displays. Everything's going to be go big or go home, but with a focus around how we can bring everyone together and stay close on the wedding day. So looking into kind of the ceremony and the venue aspect, with the ceremonies, I'm seeing that there's going to be a lot of very personal touches, and couples are going to be forgoing traditions for what really suits them as a couple. First looks are getting really popular and I'm getting asked about them all the time. Equally, couples entering the room together rather than being given away on the day. There's going to be a real focus around lots of meaningful vows and family being involved in the day in giving readings and kind of special little moments which aren't traditionally being seen in ceremonies so far. Especially with the fact that a lot of people have decided to actually hold their legal registry office side wedding now under the current restrictions, but hold back on the big celebrations till 2021. So there's going to be a lot of celebrant-led blessings going on, which are very personal. They're not kind of stuck to the usual rules, they're not stuck to the usual locations. So we're going to be able to see a lot of ceremonies happening in unique areas that don't fall under any legal requirements, and a bit of exploring there. So I'm quite excited to see where that goes. Given how busy it's going to be for weddings next year, and I think we all know that it's going to be a busy year, I think we're going to see a lot of marquee and TP weddings popping up, because traditional wedding venues are going to be very booked and people aren't going to be able to get the dates that they want. With a marquee or a TP or something like that, you've got more flexibility in choosing your date, where you want it, how you want it, all that sort of thing. So I think we'll see a lot of those sorts of venues, especially popping up in family gardens, in family fields if you've got them, or different locations that we haven't seen before. Overall, I think the days are going to be full of a lot of traditions, things that bring families together, but the emphasis is going to be very much relaxed. It's going to be about spending time together rather than all the stuff that's going on. We're going to want to make time in the schedule to be together, to sit and to talk and to enjoy those moments, rather than expensive, fully packed schedules when no one has the time to do that. Whatever size of wedding, whether it's micro weddings, whether it's huge weddings, I think people are going to be very carefully considering the budget. Lots of people have been hit this year with financial impacts due to COVID, and I think people are going to be really considering every single penny that they spend on their wedding day and how it's going to impact everyone on the day. On one side, we've got this trend of micro weddings where it's going to be small and intimate, and couples are going to have more to spend on each guest. And the emphasis is very much on spending time together and quality time with each and every guest on your wedding day. And on the other side, we're going to have these huge parties where finally we've all been allowed out, we're all allowed to get back together, and people are going to really want to celebrate this. And the emphasis is going to be there on relaxed weddings, having fun together and enjoying just being able to be in one room with all your closest friends and family. Overall, I think each and every one of us are going to be a lot more considerate about how we spend our money, focusing it on how it affects each guest and what they're going to get out of it. And the other side, I'm seeing a lot more of a wider kind of donation from your wedding day. Everyone's a lot more conscious about our overall environmental impact and kind of carbon footprint caused by our wedding day. And this could result in a lot of people choosing to donate to charities instead of favours and that sort of thing, to ensure that they're offsetting their carbon footprint for their wedding day. When it comes to photography, candid, natural, kind of caught in the moment photography has been huge for years, and I believe that's going to be here to stay. Everyone loves those photos. It captures those moments that you may miss on a wedding day. But I think the whole family portraits and the more formal shots are going to come back more important than ever. We've missed being together, we've missed being that close to our loved ones, and we've realised how important having those moments are. So we're going to want to catch them on the wedding day and make sure our photographer gets the exact photos that we want. When it comes down to choosing our kind of suppliers and our catering for the wedding day, the emphasis is definitely going to be on supporting local and supporting our British economy. I think even when it comes down to stationers, people are going to be seeking out to work with independent stationers in the UK. They're going to be looking to support these independent designers via the world of Etsy, rather than going onto Amazon and shipping in the cheapest items they can from across the world. Again, continuing this theme with our catering, we're going to be looking for local produce that's kind of farm to fork sort of thing. We're going to want to support British grown crops rather than shipping them in from other countries. And I believe the vegetarian and vegan trend is going to continue to get bigger than it ever has been. Personally, I think there may be a few little changes in the way that we actually serve the food on the wedding day. Grazing tables, kind of sharing plates, stuff like that have been really popular in the last few years. But given that we're all a lot more conscious about our kind of health and hygiene, hand washing, that sort of thing, I feel people may be opting to go for more plated meals rather than help yourself tables and things like that. Could be a controversial one, but that's kind of just what I see. I think people will opt for, as I said, that plated meal, or if they're looking for something a little bit more informal, the use of street vans, street trucks, street food, that sort of thing, or barbecues, somewhere that they can go up somewhere and be served still, but not necessarily as formal as a plated meal. And I see this all being accompanied by lots of local ales, local drinks, a lot of kind of soft drinks, mocktails, that sort of thing as well, continuing that there's a bit of a change in the way that we drink at weddings, but I think the focus is definitely going to be on locally sourced and what's available in that area. So that's it. There's a few of my predictions for 2021. We shall see how that plays out. I think COVID basically has had a huge effect on how we'll look at weddings next year, from the size of them to actually the emphasis being on the friends and family rather than stuff and things that it has been on in the past. Equally, I think we're all so much more aware of the world around us, and eco and sustainability are going to be huge things that we're going to look at for quite some years to come. And if we take Beatrice's wedding on the weekend as anything to go by, she is definitely setting the trend, as we know that the royal weddings always do. Let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed these trends, if you're incorporating them into any of your own wedding plans, or if you've got some ideas of your own. I would love to hear them. As always, if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and equally, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn the bell notification on. I will leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you on a new video very soon. Bye!